Coping, okay, with negative events. Well, we just did, right? We coped with a negative event.
Yeah.
It's describing what's going on. Okay, doesn't want to move off, but there we go. I have met a number of Hindus who have not been able to accept recent negative life events as something that should have happened. They lament, our family has been living a virtuous and dutiful life, and that fact should keep all negative happenings away from us. This is something that should not have happened to us. You've probably heard family or friends tell you that. We are living the good life, we're doing everything right, and how could this happen to us? In extreme cases, their faith has been shaken by their inability to answer the question, how could God allow this to happen? The answer I give explains their dilemma in terms of a key Hindu concept, karma, defined as follows in our online lexicon. Karma, action, deed, one of the most important principles in Hindu thought. Karma refers to any act or deed, the principle of cause and effect, a consequence or fruit of action, karma phala, or after effect, which sooner or later returns upon the doer. What we sow, we shall reap in this or future lives. Selfish, hateful acts, papa karma or kukarma, will bring suffering. Benevolent actions, punya karma or sukarma, will bring loving reactions. Karma is a neutral, self-perpetuating law of the inner cosmos, much as gravity is an impersonal law of the outer cosmos. Some religions teach that God metes out rewards and punishments for one's actions. Hinduism, however, explains that it is all handled through the law of karma. I like to compare karma to computer software or computer game. God has created a software program and installed it in the universe. The program contains all possible human actions and the corresponding fruits of actions for each one. He delegated, created a program, then he doesn't have to do anything more. Smart, executive. Our actions in past lives have created karmic fruits, some of which are to be experienced in this life. It is as though there's a big magnet inside of us that attracts these experiences to us, both positive and negative. Living a good dharmic life in the present is not sufficient to totally eliminate the negative karmic fruits created in past lives. However, the performance of selfless service, seva, can proactively soften the intensity of the karmas we are yet to experience. So as we've mentioned before, camera's over here. Beautiful bird song. We're totally happy to accept everything good that happens as something we created, but human nature is to reject everything bad that happens can't possibly have been created by us, right? But both are true. We're attracting both the positive and the negative because of our past actions. When we do not accept the rightness of a negative happening, we become disturbed and distracted. This takes up a lot of mental real estate. Accepting the happening as self-created, on the other hand, allows the disturbance and distraction to gradually fade away. Common response to a negative event is to focus on those who are involved. It is human nature to be upset with them and possibly even plan to get back at them, to exact some form of revenge. Such responses clearly lead to additional mental anguish while simultaneously missing the main point. And the first question to you, what is the main point that the person would be missing? The main point, you are destined to have this experience as a fruit of karma, your own self-created karma. If these individuals didn't treat you wrongly in this way, others would do so in the future. Karma, like gravity, is a never-failing principle that cannot be entirely averted. Gurudeva spoke strongly against blaming others. Each time you blame another person for what has happened to you, or cast blame in any way, tell yourself, this is my karma, what I was born to face. I did not come into a physical body just to blame others for what happens to me. I was not born to live in a state of ignorance created by an inability to face my karma. I came here to spiritually unfold, to accept the karmas of this and all my past lives, and to deal with them and handle them in a proper and a wonderful way. Not blaming others is the first step. To make the second step, erasing any hard feelings toward those who mistreated you, can follow this high-minded advice from the Tirukkural. If you return kindness for injuries received and forget both, those who harmed you will be punished by their own shame. So we've explained that quote recently. I won't comment on it again. And next question to you. What does learning from being mistreated by others mean? Being the recipient of a negative fruit of action offers the opportunity to learn from the experience. We are treated by others as we treated others in the past. If we swindle money from a business associate in the past, we will someday have that same experience, not immediately, but in time. The karma pala, what the youth might call come-uppance, forces us to experience what the victims of our actions felt when we mistreated them. Such a realization can be seriously upsetting and disruptive, motivating us to never swindle others again. In this way, karma is our teacher. It teaches us to better understand the consequences of our behavior, and we are attentive, improve it. Gurudeva spoke on the importance of learning from our experiences. The basic laws of life are so simple that many people don't heed them. Why? Generally because the opportunities afforded us to fail these tests are so plentiful that we generate very good reasons for not paying attention to our lessons. Shall we say it is normal to fail some of these tests? Yes. Isn't that like getting a failing grade on a report card in school? Not passing some of the tests and having to take a course over again? And next question to you. What happens if we do not learn from our experiences? Gurudeva says we must learn from our experiences or find ourselves repeating them again and again. So that's what happens if we don't learn. We're stuck going through the same type of experiences over and over. Reminds me of the movie Groundhog Day. Bill Murray kept going through it again and again until he learned something. And then he finally broke out of it. Another question that Hindus regularly ask me is, why is there so much violence in the world today? And that's the question to you. How would you answer the question, why is there so much violence in the world today? The most extreme form of this challenging question is, how can God exist? How can God exist if there is so much violence in the world today? Perhaps you've been asked that question. Wikipedia page entitled List of Ongoing Armed Conflicts contains 54 active conflicts of large, medium, and small scale. It's probably more than you thought. Some of them are pretty small. The cause of these armed conflicts has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with mankind. So that's the answer. Man is the cause of all of this violence in the world today, not God. Man's done it all by himself. My answer goes on. Unfortunately, there is still a significant amount of tribalism on the planet. Tribalism is defined as tribal consciousness and loyalty, especially exaltation of the tribe above other groups. In other words, individuals involved in conflict want their group's ways of belief, culture, language, etc. to be followed by others. There is a lack of tolerance for other ways of life. Contrast, many countries today are known for their sense of pluralism, defined as a state of society in which members of diverse ethnic, racial, religious, or social groups maintain and develop their traditional culture or spiritual interests within the confines of a common civilization. So that's what we want, is a society that really wants to be pluralistic. One group doesn't want their way of life forced on everyone else, which is what causes violence. My advice is to adopt the perspective that violence and warring conflicts have nothing to do with God. They arise from individuals holding a belief in tribalism. Holding this view can take away any mental disturbance caused by the high level of hurtfulness we see each day. And we can all promote the idea of pluralism. I remember probably a couple of decades ago, Singapore had signs up, some national campaign about diversity and all being Singaporeans. So you can even do it at the national level, promote pluralism. Gurudeva taught, gain the perspective first that it is a wonderful world, that there is nothing wrong in the world at all. Two more key Hindu viewpoints can help us face life's challenges. Number one, Hindus do not accept the concept that some individuals are evil and others are good. Hindus believe that each individual is a soul, a divine being that is inherently good. So, there aren't any evil people. Everybody has a soul, so everybody is inherently, meaning the soul, is good in everyone. It's just some people, it's really covered up, doesn't express itself at all. And in other people, you can feel it a little bit, and in certain people, they seem to be all soul. So it's in there in everyone, it's just some people it's really covered. And a second point, the whole world is one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So that's a wonderful Hindu concept. Nearly everyone in the world is family-oriented. The goal of most human effort is to benefit all members of our family. We want them to be happy, successful, and religiously fulfilled. When we define family as the whole world, we wish everyone in the world to be happy and fulfilled. So that's the goal, to embrace the whole world as family. In conclusion, negative events will continue to occur in our life as the fruits of our actions in this and prior lives are magnetized to us by the never-failing law of karma. But these events do not have to be a source of disturbance, distraction, doubt about God, and blaming of others. Rather, we can accept them as our own self-created karma, learning from life's difficulties to avoid repeating the cycle again. As for the world, we can accept what is happening as the working out of the remaining tribalism. As the mass consciousness gradually shifts toward a global pluralism. So example I use is Western Europe. One point there was countries are going to war on a regular basis, and then it formed the EU. And it's managing to maintain a diversity of language, of culture for the various countries in the EU, but have a union working together. So that's the goal of pluralism. You maintain your differences, but you're able to work together for common good. We can also be proactive in sharing our Hindu belief in the divinity of all people and the perspective that the whole world is a one family. Okay, there it is. Small delay. Says Maha Upanishad, the full quote. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One is a relative, the other is a stranger. Sorry. Starts this way. Only small men discriminate, saying, one is a relative, the other is a stranger. For those who live magnanimously, the entire world constitutes but a family. It's the actual quote. And our second topic, let's see what we have here. Second topic is satsang at hindu.org. Okay. First item is not an actual question, but rather an issue that comes up now and then. Relates to the presentation we just did. It is a loss of faith in God or lack of faith in God. Due to God not answering your prayers, for example, to cure your chronic illness or to lessen your elderly mother's suffering. So God didn't answer my prayers. Therefore, God doesn't exist. Therefore, I'm going to ignore God. Simple answer is that God doesn't normally change the physical. Rather, he changes the mental. Praying is like listening to one's favorite music. Praying improves our state of mind, does not normally heal the body. Of course, there are exceptions in our scriptures, but these are rare and should not be expected. To do so would be holding unrealistic expectations. So that's the key, is individuals have unrealistic expectations of the results praying will cause. So for sure, it can improve your state of mind, but to heal you, generally that's not the case. Next idea, we need to accept the nature of the physical world. The earth, for example, will on a regular basis have earthquakes. These are not created by God, but rather the nature of the movement of the plates of the earth. The physical body will experience old age, which can include some painful illnesses. Painful illnesses can as well be experienced at a younger age. That is the nature of the physical body. Okay, I jumped ahead there. That is the nature of the physical body which cannot be changed. It's just what it is. It wears out, gets ill. A submitted question asks for an explanation of this statement by Gurudeva. Dormant sanchita karma, while not directly being acted upon, is a weighty and compelling force of potential energy, be it benign or gross, good or bad. slothful or inspirational. It is this dormant karma that explains why two people born at the same moment and who thus have the same astrology differ in their talents and tendencies. So Gurudev is talking about the sum total of what someone has been in his past lives and what he has accomplished. He describes that aspect of a person as a weighty and compelling force of potential energy. For example, an individual who has become an accomplished musician in past lives would show above average talents and tendencies toward music in this life, independent of specific karmas he created in past lives. He might, for example, be a musical child prodigy. So someone else with the same astrology might not have any musical talent. So in other words, the achievements of past lives carry forward. So even though the astrology is the same, the people's lives would be different because of their past life achievements. And our third and last topic, quotes from Yoga Swami's words of our master. How many births and deaths have come and gone? What good is there in this? What harm? What knowledge? What ignorance? Remain a witness always. And as usual, what does that mean to you? It's not just one meaning. Yoga Swami's quotes can be interpreted in a number of ways generally. The answer I am giving is we tend to get too involved in the external details of a life and need to be more involved in the internal spiritual growth that has taken place. In the end, that is what really matters. And another quote. We are the Atma. You must become clearly convinced of this. What does that mean to you? Sometimes we remember we are the Atma, and other times we forget. The goal is to never forget you are the Atma. In other words, gain the control of mind so that life doesn't upset you enough to cause you to forget you're the Atma and to cause you to forget. To center yourself, you end up staying in your emotions or overly in your intellect because of what happened in life, and you forget that you are the Atma and can be peaceful. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. It's very interesting. It's requiring, previously I was showing the program, keynote, and now it won't let me show a program. I have to show the whole desktop. So learning how to do that here. You get to